training videos, right?
All of my agents, yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
Wonderful.
Miss.
Okay. Oh, someone is already recording the call. Okay, great. So I'm gonna share my. Everyone is using a PC, correct? Is on a PC, not on a cell phone or.
Yes, Miss. They're on PC.
Yes.
Okay, Estella, you're using your PC too, right? So that you
Yes.
can. Okay, wonderful. So that you can clearly see my screen. Okay, so guys, just a heads up, the script that you're gonna be seeing when I share my screen, this is not the actual script. This is actually a test script, but the actual that you're gonna be using looks like this. All right. So I'm not gonna send this one in the GCs yet because just to make sure that you're not gonna use this on your actual calls because we've had it when we after the training, what the agents would do is instead of clicking the web form that they're supposed to click in the dialer to load the actual survey form, they actually use the test script. So it's gonna your surveys are gonna go to waste if you're gonna use the test script. So instead of sending you the text script, I sent if you take a look at your group chats, I sent you the document form of the test script for you to be familiar with the questions on the survey, okay? Once you've been dialing this particular campaign and we switch to another campaign, the test script on the new campaign, that's when I will be starting to send the actual test script links, okay? So that it will be more convenient for you to review the questions. So let me just share my screen. Let me know if everyone can see it. Is everyone able to see the test script? I mean, my screen rather, sorry.
Yes, Miss.
Okay, wonderful. Now, Estella, and for the entire team of GAB, for surveys, we have two languages, all right? We have English, we also have Spanish. Now, the only time we can actually do Spanish calls is if there is a Spanish translation on the survey form. Now, for this particular survey that we will be conducting later on, that's 21046, we will be dialing specifically Boston. So the people we're dialing are actually parents. This is a survey for parents who have children in kindergarten and below, if I'm not mistaken. That's kindergarten and below, or kindergarten, nursery, and primary school. So on this particular survey, anyone who can, those only who can speak Spanish can conduct the survey in Spanish since there is a Spanish translation. So Estella, for 21046, you can conduct the survey in Spanish, but
Yes.
if
Mhm.
that is only if there is a Spanish translation, okay? For all other campaigns, if the campaign that we will be dialing does not have a Spanish translation, then you are only allowed to conduct it in English. Clear?
Okay, perfect.
Okay. But for the training, I will have to use the English translation, guys, because I don't speak Spanish, okay?
Okay.
And by the way, my name is Mary. I am Mary. I'm the operations manager here. I also do the trainings for all the campaigns as well if Benjamin is not available. So let's start. I understand that you were able to watch all the three videos, right? Now, this is just a short recap just to make sure that you did not miss anything in the video and just to make sure that you don't forget very important things that you have to remember during the survey. So I'm going to send something on your chat. Um, hang on. Where are you? There. Okay. So if you take a look at your chats, that's one of the important things that you have to remember. So first, you can't wait for approval or response, okay? Once you hear the beep, you don't have to wait for someone to say hello to you, okay? Instead, you open the spiel right away. You give your intro right away. So that means we have to assume that someone is already on the other line waiting for us to introduce yourself and to tell them the reason for the call. So right after you hear the beep, open your spiel right away and you have to don't stop until you ask the first qualifying question. Now for surveys, we have a general opening and closing spiel. I'm gonna here. You just have to change. the intro depending the state that we will be dialing. So for today, we'll be dialing Boston. So your intro will have to be hi, this is Mary with not that should be Boston Opinion Survey. So hi, this is Mary with Boston Opinion Survey. I'm not selling anything. We're conducting an opinion survey about issues facing the community in the state. Are you 18 years and older and registered to vote in Boston? That should be your opening spiel. So if you take a look at this one, okay, oh, I'm sorry, hang on. We're using Metro Research. Then you will have to change, not don't use Boston Opinion Survey, instead use Metro Research. So two things, guys. When our survey or the particular survey that we have has a very long opening intro, sometimes it has, we tend to shorten it. That's why we have a general intro and closing spiel, because we want to make sure that your intro is very precise and brief as much as possible. Okay, so the only part of the survey that you can actually modify or shorten, that would be your intro or your opening spiel. Now for this one, for the Boston survey 21046, it seems like the intro that they created is quite short. So you can use the intro that's on the script or use the intro that we have prepared for you, the general intro. Just have to change the name of the institution that we represent from National Opinion Survey to Metro Research. Okay, so you have to be mindful of that, because sometimes we will have 2 or 3 campaigns active. So from time to time, say for example, you're already dialing 21046, we will send a group message to all GCs of all teams to inform you to switch to another campaign. So once we ask you to switch to another campaign, that means automatically you have to be attentive and switch your intros as well. So for example, 21046 we're dialing Boston, and then the other survey will be dialing a national. That means multiple states. And then another survey will be dialing a different state. Then you have to know which state that survey represents. Okay? Because we inform you ahead of time. So for 21046, this is Boston, guys. So if we will have another survey coming up that will be active along with Boston, then you have to be prepared to always change your script depending on what campaign you are dialing. That's very important. All right. So you can use the general script, or you can use the script that's here on the test script or on the survey, actual survey. So that's where on behalf of Metro Research, not selling anything, conducting an opinion survey. This is basically the same as the general script. It's just that I removed this one. I don't want to say I would like to ask you a few questions about issues, because it has a different impact on some, like in some people or in some respondents. It would seem like, oh, they might ask me some private questions, this and that. So some are very sensitive when it comes to that, so I don't bluntly say I'm going to ask them some questions. Instead, I'm conducting an opinion survey on issues or about issues facing Massachusetts and schools in your area. So you can remove, would like to ask you about questions. We can try and use this one instead. I'm going to send that in the group chat so that you can just copy it. All right. And then we will remove, I'm conducting an opinion survey about issues. That. So that it has more impact when you open your spiel like that. But always make sure to ask the first question, which is if they're 18 years and older and registered to vote in Boston. Okay, don't forget that. This is a technique that we have been applying ever since we have been dialing on all the campaigns that we do. Whenever you open your spiel, especially on this type of campaigns, this is usually, well, we can consider this one as a sales campaign, though it's not really selling anything, right? But it can be considered as a sales campaign, right? Because what we are doing is we're not taking money from them to buy a stuff, but we are asking for their time. Basically, what they are paying us is not money or monetary thing, but it's their time, and time is money, right? Still, so we can still consider it as a sales campaign. And typically in sales, what we got, what the technique that we got is that when you open your spiel, you can't end it with just a a statement. You always have to end it with a question. That way, you don't give the customer an option to say yes or no, right? Say, for example, if you say, hello, I'm calling from Metro Research and I'm not selling anything, conducting an opinion survey about issues facing Massachusetts and schools in your area. This is a research study. Your name was chosen at random. Your individual answers are confidential. Right after that, what we usually do is we pause. And if you pause, you're giving the customer a time or a chance to object, say no or I'm not interested. But if you end it with a question, their first instinct is to answer your question, right? That's why we always end every rebuttal or every spiel with a question. That is why in your opening intro that we created, the general intro, it's always added, the first question is always added along with the intro, which is if they're 18 years and older and registered to vote, and specifically in the state that we're currently dialing. So since we're dialing Boston, then you will have to add Boston on that. You have to replace it with Boston. Is that clear, guys? Was
Yeah.
that okay? All right. So you feel free to interrupt me if you have questions and if I tend to go too fast because I really speak too fast. All right. I'm sorry, but that's how it works for me. So you have to cut me. If you have to cut me off, cut me off. It's fine. All right. And then next thing that you have to remember, you always have to stay neutral. So when you acknowledge customers' answers, you have to make sure that you don't say great, that's amazing, things like that, because we don't want to make them feel that we agree to their opinion. Remember, we're conducting an unbiased survey. All right. This is a double blind unbiased survey, research study. So what we want is their opinion. So just you can't agree to their opinion just to make sure that they continue with your survey. Yes. Okay. All right. So the only acknowledgments that you could say is okay, understood, that's noted, thank you. That's it. But if they do tell you something that's not related to the survey or not related to their opinion, then you can acknowledge it accordingly. But if it's an opinion that they're telling you or they give you an answer, you cannot at all um, agree to it. Okay. And you're also not allowed to give out your own opinion because we've had some agents who give out their own opinion just to to build rapport to the customers or to the respondents. So, guys, you can build rapport in some other ways, but not at all by giving your own opinion on a certain topic that you're asking to the respondents. Okay. Now, another thing is do not be intimidated by the customer. Why? Because you're the one who called. All right, you have to take control of the call. You're speaking to average people, random people. We're not talking to the president or the senator of the United States. We're not talking to people in power. All right, we're talking to ordinary people. Those are the people that we need the opinion from, because those are the people who don't really get to voice out their opinion on certain topics when it comes to some issues within their state or the nation, right? So those are the people that we are currently dialing and currently calling. So don't be intimidated. They don't know who you are. They don't know what you look like. They don't even know where you're calling from. So if they ask you where you're calling from, please, those who are in the Philippines, do not at all say you're in the Philippines. Say that you're in the United States. Okay? We're in the United States, downtown Boston. So whichever state you're dialing, use that as a state that you're from. I don't want you to open any can of worms. So when they ask you where are you calling from, you can say we're calling from Metro Research. We're conducting a double blind survey, and then ask them the next question that you have on your screen. That way um, you can get them from that topic. All right. You can change the topic. You have to change the topic. You can't just let them control the call. You have to make sure you take control of the call. And then another important thing is active listening. So guys, this is very important. Why? Because sometimes they already give you an answer to your question and then you're not listening attentively, you tend to ask them again. If you keep on asking them to repeat themselves, repeat the answers that they've already given you 2 or 3 times within the call, the customers or the respondents might hang up on you. So that's a very, very high percentage tendency that they will hang up on you if you won't listen to everything they say. So you have to actively listen. I don't want to hear anyone saying, oh, because my headset is not working well, this and that. You have to make sure that your equipments are working well before you start dialing. That's a must. Okay? So if your equipments are working well before you started dialing and you still ask the customer repeatedly their answer, then that means there is something wrong with your hearing. So you need to have that checked, or maybe you're not just really attentively listening. Okay, so this is very important. You have to actively listen to everything that the respondent tells you. All right. Now, especially in the parts wherein you are asked to input a phrase or you have to key in exactly their opinion, because there will be segments in the survey wherein you just don't click options. Instead, you will have to actually type in their customer's answer. So that way you can active listening means you have to type in the vital parts of their opinion. You don't have to type it word per word, right? Just the main parts, just to make sure that you get the point of what the customer is telling you. So active listening applies on that part as well. So you can shorten exactly if they tell you a very long answer, then you can shorten it. Just type in the important points or what they actually meant by what they said. Another thing, you have to acknowledge what you're doing and why. So this will prevent you from shuddering or stuttering when customer asks you questions, and will help you remain focused and importance in your job. So you have to know what you're doing. Remember, what we're doing here is actually conducting a survey. So we're facilitating a survey. You do know what surveys are, right? It's basically the same as the ones that um, you you fill out when someone asks you to fill out this form because it's a survey or it's a research study thing, this and that. It's like that. It's just the only difference is that it's over the phone and we're calling random customers or random respondents, right? So you have to know that we're not selling them anything. This is just a research study, and you have to believe that because it will reflect in the sound of your voice. If you don't believe that you're actually doing this one for a greater benefit, or that this will be or this or the results or the data that we get from this one is very helpful in um in making our nation a better place, or voicing out their opinion will help in making our nation a better place. If you don't believe that, then you will not get more or a lot of production when it comes to the survey campaign. So you have to believe that doing this or your job is actually helping the nation. Getting these people voice out their opinion, their concerns, will definitely help make their society or their state a better place. Clear?
Yeah, clear.
Yes.
Crystal.
Thank you. All right. Now remain on the phone with the best attitude. This is very, very important. Your attitude onset of the call until the end of the call must remain um, not stagnant, but the same, remain the same. So if you're very lively when you open your call, you have to be lively all throughout the entire call. Okay, so in every call, like not just the entire call, but the entire shift. Okay, I know that sometimes right after taking so many calls, we tend to get drained. All right, you can rest a bit, guys. If you need to go on bio to get water, you can. It's fine. On your breaks, make sure that you do rest, so that once you finish your break and you hop on the calls once again, you're replenished. Okay? So you have to make sure that your energy from the start up to the end of the shift is always the same. It should not go down. If as much as possible, it should even go higher, go more lively, the better. All right? So from start to finish, your attitude, your energy would have to stay the same. Okay? So those are the most important things that you have to remember in conducting a survey. Let's start with the survey session. So that's your introduction. Right after you say your intro, if the customer would give them your time to conduct the survey or to answer the survey, remember that you already add this question in your intro, right? So you could just easily say yes or no to that depending on their answer. Next, then after that, you can just say, okay, thank you. And how many children do you have living in living with you attending kindergarten through 12th grade? It's actually 12th grade. I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. That's 12th grade and below. So that's kindergarten up to 12th grade. And in this coming school year. So they will give you an answer. You type in whatever answer they give you. And then you use 999 if they don't want to answer. All right. And then continue with the next question. Select all that apply. So you will have to read all of the options provided except don't know or refused. Okay. So you read it one by one. If they say yes to all of them, then yes to all of them, whichever works or whichever is applicable to your respective respondents. Then just make sure that you don't click on you don't read on don't know or refuse. But if they say I'm not sure or I don't want to answer that, you can choose it as an answer. Just don't read it out loud. Unfortunately, if they say don't know, it will automatically terminate your survey and you can't go back. Okay? But just because you can't go back, you can't say on this one I can go back. That's because this is just a test script. So this is very important because this has happened multiple times. You can't choose an answer that the customer did not give. Always make sure that the answers you click is exactly what the customer tells you. All of your calls are recorded. Once you finish a survey, once you complete a survey 100%, it doesn't mean that that's already valid. That will have to go through the QA team. So all of your calls, like all of your completed survey calls, will be QA'd one by the QA team. And if they hear or notice anything on your recording that like you clicked on a different answer compared to what the customer tells you, that will automatically invalidate the survey and that will be forwarded to your team leads. And you might be kicked off by from the campaign because of that, because our customer considers that as cheating. Okay? And that is indeed cheating, guys. Not choosing the correct answer that the customer give you is cheating because there will be qualifiers in the surveys. Qualifiers means that if you choose this particular answer, the survey terminates. So if it terminates, that means you cannot proceed with the survey. You have to end the call. And that means that's not a completed survey, right? So what some agents do is they don't choose that answer. They choose a different answer just for the survey to proceed. And that's a big no-no because that's cheating. And we will always know that because all your surveys are recorded and they are QA'd one by one. So we don't want to catch any one of you doing that, please. Okay? So you have to make sure only choose the answer that the customer tells you. And if it gets terminated, then end the call and move on to your next call. That's all you can do. All right? Let me just, then you have to ask for the age. Basically, guys, all you have to do is just read, right? You just have to read the question that's given in front of you. Yes. Sorry. Yes. Does someone have a question? None? Okay.
And so
Le-
far.
Okay, let me just skip to some questions here. Here. On this part. As you may know, the Boston Public School System says that they partner with the community, families, and students. In your view, how well would say the Boston Public School System is partnering with you? How well would you say? So in this part, you will have to ask them specifically, is it that very well, somewhat well, not too well, or not at all? Because sometimes they would just answer me, well, it's okay. Well enough. So, well, you know that well enough and it's okay is not on the options provided, right? As a valid answer. So what you would do is you have to probe. Okay, if you'd say that's okay, would you say that would be very well or that would be somewhat well? If they say no, they're not treating us that much or they're not partnering us with that really well, then you can ask, is that not too well or not at all? So you have to probe, okay? Because some of them would automatically answer you right even before you give the options. But if they don't answer you right away, might as well give the options and make sure to get a valid answer. A valid answer, that means the answer can be found in the options in your questionnaire. All right, that should be clear. So you might also notice that some of the questions might sound and might look repetitive, like it's redundant. So even if you think that way, or even if you feel that way, or even if your customers or respondents feel that way, you will still have to read each question verbatim, word per word. So if they tell you, I already answered that, you can tell them, I understand, but I did not make the survey, and this I will. It's part of the procedure to ask them verbatim. I can't just skip the questions, otherwise this will invalidate or this will ruin the point of the survey or the purpose of the research study, right? Skipping the questions will definitely ruin the purpose of the research study. So that can be a rebuttal you can use for them to not hang up on you. All right. So if they tell you, I already understand, I already answered that. I understand, and I understand that, ma'am. However, I did not create the survey. My job is to facilitate and read them and conduct them to you. And if I skip some of the questions here, this will ruin the purpose of the research study. And then proceed to the question right away. So take control of the call. Next, there will be parts. I don't think there are parts in the survey that asks you to. Here, this is one of the segments that I was talking about earlier. So you will ask to key in their idea or their opinion. So if you had a magic wand to make one immediate change for the Boston Public School system designed to help you feel more empowered, what would it be? So some of them will give you one word or two word answers. That's fine. You can just type it in easily. But some of them will give you like an entire speech. All right. And that would take so much of your time. So what you need to do once you get the hint of what they were talking about or the main of the idea of what they're talking about, type it in. And once you got it, you can cut them off. You can cut them off by asking them, oh, okay, then does your child have then they would just stop. Okay. So you can cut them off if they're already taking too much of their time giving you an answer. As long as you got the point of their opinion, you can type it in, click on next, and then, oh, okay, I understand. And does your child have an individualized education plan, sometimes called an IEP? So you can proceed it that way. So it would not seem like, don't cut them off while they're in the middle of something. Because when you talk, sometimes we tend to pause for a second or a split second, right? So cut them off on that point where they pause to take a breath before they can speak again. That way it will not sound very rude, all right, when you cut them off. And do apologize when you cut them off. Let's say, for example, you were talking and then I cut you off by saying, oh, okay. And does your child, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But does your child have any like that? Okay. So you apologize and then you still proceed with your question. That way you take control of the call. Because if you let them talk and you stop the talk, you let them do the talking and you the listening, you would take an hour to finish a survey. All right. So you have to make sure to take control of the call. You guys should be the one doing the more of the talking and them listening. All right. And then I think that's pretty much it. And the next the next questions on that survey will just be for statistical purposes only. Zip code here. So let's see. I don't know any other zip codes. Okay, so right after you ask for the zip code, that means that's the last question on your survey. It will automatically tell you to say, it will automatically tell you that this concludes our survey. So you give your closing spiel, which is this concludes our survey on behalf of Metro Research. Thank you for your participation and want you to know that your opinion matters in making our society a better place. Have a good day. Then you hang up the call. Once you hang up the call, you will be routed to this page. Now, this is not how it looks like. The actual completed survey form looks like this. All right. So it will say complete if it was done 100% complete with the survey ID at the bottom. Now that survey ID is highlighted because you'll have to copy that survey ID and you will need that when you fill out your Google form. That's for the tracker. Okay, I will discuss that later on the training. So there are three things that I need you to remember, guys. Because you will have to take a screenshot of this page. Once you see this one completed, you already thanked the customer, disconnected the call, dispositioned it. You have to take a screenshot of this and send it in your group chats. Okay, send it in your group chats, tag it depending on the number of surveys that you've done for the day. Now, you have to remember because this is something that most agents forget. You only take a screenshot of it if it says complete. Because sometimes you might be doing the survey and you thought that it's already completed because it says finished and you saw this sign, but it says there as over quota or terminate. Over quota or terminate, that means the survey is not completed. The survey is terminated. Terminated, that means the person that you were asking did not qualify. So qualifying questions are usually in the first 2 to 3 questions in your survey. First 2 to 3 questions. On the third question, if the customer does not qualify, it will automatically terminate the survey. You will see this logo, but you will see there terminated. It won't say complete, it would say terminated. If it's an over quota, that means we have reached the number of participants for that certain quota. So it could be an age range or a race or a gender. Then it would say over quota. So if it says over quota or terminate, then you don't have to fill out a form for that and you don't have to take a screenshot of it. But for over quotas, you have to inform us in the GC that you're getting an OQ and what's the reason for your OQ. So mostly reasons for the OQ would be race or age or gender. So say for example, you got a white white 25 years old or 35 years old, and then automatically it said over quota. Then you have to type in it in the juice group chat, OQ age 35 or OQ race white, like that. Okay. But you don't have to take a screenshot. So you only take a screenshot if it's a completed survey. Clear?
Crystal.
Okay. So let's proceed to the dial. Oh, before I forget. Now, there will be parts or times wherein you're in the middle of the survey and then the call gets disconnected. So if a call gets disconnected while you're in the middle of the survey, you need to make sure to save your survey form. You can save your survey form by clicking on abandon. That's just right below the percentage. So once you click on abandon, another window will open there and would say save survey form, and then there's an OK button. Click on OK to save that survey form. Why do you need to save it? Because once you call the customer back and you did not save the form, it will go back to the very beginning. So that means you will have to ask the questions that you've already asked, and that would make you and your customer both frustrated. So you need to make sure that you're in the middle of the survey, you've already asked a couple of questions and the call gets disconnected, abandon and save the survey form so that when you call the customer back, it will just automatically forward to the part where you left off. So if you left off at the 34% of the survey, then it will continue to that part where you left off, as long as you click on abandon and save survey form. Is that clear?
Yes, miss.
Okay. Now, one other thing, customers will tend to will tell you actually how long does the survey take? Like how many more minutes? Let me just mute some of you, okay? Because I'm hearing a lot of static in the background. All right. So they will tell you how many more questions or how long does the survey take. So if you're in the middle of it and then they ask you that, don't give them an answer on how many questions. You don't know that. You wouldn't know. How many minutes? You wouldn't know that either. So don't estimate. Instead, tell them the percentage. So if it says in your survey form that you're already in the 34% of the survey, you can lie a bit about that. You can say, we're already in the 50% of the survey. I'll make this even quicker for you. Then you read the question that's on your screen. Always end your rebuttal with a question. That's a mandatory. Always end your opening with a question. Always end your rebuttal with a question. Okay, don't end with a statement. Always end with a question. So if they tell you, if it says there you're already in the 60%, you could say we're already in the 80%. I'll make this even quicker for you. And then read the question there. So you can lie and adjust the percentage up to 20% interval. That's maximum. You can't go over 20% because you might get in trouble for that. So we allow you to say a little white lie on that part of the percentage, but that's the only part that you can lie about. Okay? Just the percentage, just to make sure that the customers don't hang up on you. All right, let's go to the dialer training. So this is what the dialer looks like. You will not be able to access this dialer without your VPN. So make sure that your VPN apps have already been downloaded. Right after the training, I will send each and everyone's VPN profiles. Now you just have to upload the profile and connect to the VPN. Once you're connected, you'll be able to access your dialer. You will be given a 5-digit phone login with your password. Just key that in there, click on submit, key that one in again, and click on the campaign. Now to select the campaign that we will be dialing today is 21046. So that should be the only campaign that's going to be active. Click on that and click on submit, and you'll be routed to this page. On this page, all you have to do is click on Call Agent Web Phone. Once you click on Call Agent Web Phone, you'll be routed to this page and you will hear the voice prompt. So voice prompt would say you're the only person in this conference. Now, if you don't hear that, log out. Make sure you cleared your history, your cache, your cookies, and make sure your audios have permission, your headsets are working fine before you try and log back in. Now, once you're logged back in and you're able to hear the voice prompt, then you're good to go. You just click on this yellow button that says you are paused. Once you click on that, you will automatically go on active. It will change to green and it will say you are active. Now that by the time you're active, calls will eventually start to come in. Now, once you hear a call or once a call comes in, you will hear a beep. Okay, once you hear the beep, proceed with your intro right away. Like I said earlier, no saying of hello, no waiting for a customer to say hello. Once you hear the beep, proceed with your intro. Assume that someone is on the other line waiting for you to introduce yourself. All right? So no saying hello, hello, hello. Is anyone there? I want to hear in your recordings that once you hear the beep, you proceed with your intro. Hi, this is Mary. I'm with Metro Research. We're conducting a survey, this and that. All right. And then while you're saying your intro, make sure to click on web form. This is where you get your actual survey form, the survey script that you will be using all throughout the survey. So that's web form. Once you hear the beep, you open your intro and click on web form. Another tab will open here, and that would be your survey form. All right. And in your survey form, that's where you get the questions that you ask from the customer. And you can also see there your intro. So like we've said earlier, the intro that you can use would be the general intro that we were using, that I sent in your group chat. Just change National Opinion Survey to Metro Research, or you can use the intro that's on the script because it's also shorter. So it's just a short intro. So whichever works for you, doesn't matter as long as, but you can only choose between the two, the general opening that we sent or that we created or the one that's on the script. Clear? And then read all the questions verbatim. No skipping of questions, and only choose answers, valid answers. That means answers that can be found in the options in your survey. If you can't find anything, if the customer tells you an answer that's not on your survey form, then probe, and then give them those options until you get a specific answer or a valid answer from the customer. All right. Now, once you hear a call or once you have a call, it would show their live call and then the customer's first and last name. I myself, when I do surveys, I don't ask for the first and the last name because there will be times wherein you get wrong numbers. Okay, but there are no wrong numbers in survey, guys. If they tell you, oh, you're calling, if you ask for the person that's on the list and they tell you, oh, you're calling the wrong number, you could say, that's actually the reason we're calling you because we're doing a research study and your number was chosen at random and your individual answers are confidential. Are you 18 years and older and registered to vote? Okay, we're calling random people. We're calling ordinary people. Okay, this is not a targeted lead. So that's why I don't ask for the first and last name. I assume that I'm already talking to the person on the list so that I can avoid that objection. That's me. Well, if you're used to asking for the person on the list before you proceed with your intro, that's also fine. But I would suggest not to. Just proceed with your intro and assume that you're already talking to the person on the list so that we can avoid objections when it comes to wrong numbers. So in your dispositions, there shouldn't be any wrong numbers. Again, I want to make this clear. There are no wrong numbers. The only time you can choose wrong number is if you're calling a business number. If they say this is a business phone, you're calling a business. And that's very, very rare. Maybe 1 in 1,000 or yeah, 1 in 1,000 leads. So there shouldn't be any wrong numbers. All calls should be able or all customers should be able or should be qualified to take the survey unless they're not registered to vote in the state that we're dialing, and for this particular campaign, unless if they are not parents. So the only people who are not allowed or not qualified are those that are not registered to vote and those that are not yet parents or don't have
Mary,
children. Yes.
I'm sorry for interrupt you. Can you repeat the rebutal for the wrong number? Just that I missed a little. I am writing down the information. So, can you repeat just still the rebutal for this?
Oh yeah, sure. You can say that's the reason that we're calling you. We're conducting a research study, and your number was chosen at random. Then you proceed with the question: Are you 18 years and older and registered to vote?
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right. So right after that, once you were able to finish a call or say 100% completed survey, or the customer was really not interested or it was an answering machine, all you have to do is click on hang up customer. That's one. And then you'll be routed to the dispositions page. This is the page where you tag each and every call. So if it was an answering machine, click on answering machine. If it was busy, you can click on busy. If you scheduled a callback, you can click on callback. And if it was no answer or dead air, you can choose dead air. Don't choose no answer, just click on dead air. That's the only thing that you have to click if it was no answer, if there was no answer, or if it was a dead air. Again, no disconnected number or no wrong numbers, okay? And then if it was an over quota, click on over quota. If customer was, I don't want to click on not interested. What I do if they're really not interested is I click on callback. They might not be interested at that time. Maybe they were thinking of something else or they're really just very busy. That's why they don't want to talk to you. So you can just click on callback. All right, because we don't want to throw leads. Sale made if it was a completed survey. And then we added another disposition there, which is terminate. That's for terminated forms. So if a customer or a close respondent is not qualified. So if it says terminate in your survey form, then terminate. If it says over quota, then click over quota. If it says complete, then that's a completed survey. That's sale made. Okay. Now, if you got a sale made, you have to go on pause after dispositioning sale made. You can do that by clicking on this one first before you click on sale made. So click this checkbox and then click on sale made, then you'll automatically be on pause. Because you'll have to go to your call logs and get the information for that particular customer. because you'll need that info for the Google form for your tracker. Okay, so once you've completed it, you tagged it to Cellmate, you're on pause, you click on this one, view call logs, and you'll see your logs for that day. There, this is how it looks like. All you have to do is go to the very bottom. It's actually the very bottom of the page. Just have to scroll this one down. Now you will see their status sale, then the phone number, the full name, and the campaign. All you have to do is highlight from the phone number up to the campaign, copy, paste it in your sticky notes or your notepads, close, and then log out from your dialer. And then open your Google form link, which is this one. Now, that information that you pasted in your notepads or in your sticky notes will be the same information that you'll have to input in your Google form. So each team will have their own separate Google forms. Your team leads will provide that to you. Now, agent's name, that would be your name. Username, that would be your phone login. Just guys, please input the numbers only. Don't have to include your name. Okay, just the numbers, the phone login, and then the customer's first and last name. That's the information we got from the dialer. Phone number, same, the information we got from the dialer. The survey confirmation number, that's the survey confirmation number below the completed form. That would be this one. Okay, so you copy that and you paste that in the Google form. One of the reasons why we ask you to take a screenshot of this is just in case you closed out the tab, in case you close the tab, you still have a copy of the survey ID number because you took a screenshot of it and sent it in your group chats, right? So you don't lose it. So you copy that there. And then survey campaign, that would be depending on the campaign we're dialing. So today that would be 21046, and you also copy that from the dialer, right? It would say USA 21046 or whichever campaign we dial. So you put it in there and then call made in English. Or for this survey, those who speak Spanish can put Spanish if you were able to conduct it in Spanish since there is a Spanish translation. Otherwise, if you don't speak Spanish or if there's no Spanish translation in the survey form, then you only have to choose and conduct it in English. After that, click on submit and you're good to go. You can log back in and start taking calls again and follow the same process. Question.
Mary, yeah. For example, how are we gonna know if we can provide the survey on Spanish? Because we're gonna ask to the customer, or we're gonna just like no.
They would know. They would actually tell you that they don't speak English. So if they don't speak English,
Okay.
you can choose Spanish. Remember, hold on. There. So when you click on this one, remember that you have to click on web form to get your survey form, right? So once a call comes in, you click on web form, then another tab will open here. That tab will look like this. This is what you will see. So if the customer tells you, oh, I don't speak English, I only speak Spanish, then you conduct it in Spanish because there is a Spanish translation. Click on Español and the questions will be in Spanish. Okay, but that's only for those who can speak Spanish. All right. Was that clear for you, Estela?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Now, there are some surveys, guys, in the future. If we will have new surveys once this is done, there are some times that we don't have Spanish translation, Estela. It will only have English, so that means we can't conduct the survey in Spanish. The only time we can do it if it gives us an option to conduct it in Spanish, okay?
Okay.
Any more questions?
All right.
All good? No more questions, guys? Okay, if you don't have questions for me, then I'll be the one asking questions. Where will you find your survey form?
On the web form.
Yeah. On Bitchy.
Okay,
web.
perfect. So what do you do when the call comes in?
We click web form, and it's gonna pop up the survey.
Okay. And when you hear the beep, what's the first thing you have to do? Do you say hello?
Introduce
No.
myself.
Read the spiel.
Okay, you have to give out your intro right away. No saying of hello. Okay? And what if someone tells you, "Oh, you got the wrong number."
Okay, we want to provide that's the reason we are calling for. We are conducting a research study and your phone number was randomly selected.
Exactly. So you don't let the customer go just because they told you it's a wrong number. Okay? Again, there are no wrong numbers in survey. So all the numbers are good leads. So there are no bad leads in survey. Anyone can actually take the survey. So don't worry about your Google form because it doesn't matter. Even if if they say that it's a wrong number and you were able to continue, you still have to follow the information that's on the dialer. So that's fine. Just make sure that you don't let that particular lead go just because they said it's a wrong number. Okay. So you have to continue.
I have a question. For example, if we did receive the survey, so we're gonna pause in the system on Vichy, and then after that, as soon as we get the information, we're gonna log out and go to the Google form. That's all.
Yes,
And
go
after
to the
that, we
form.
can go log back.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
And guys, if you do have a completed survey, don't forget to take a screenshot of the completed form. Okay, the one that I just showed you. This one. This one. Please do make sure to take a screenshot of that. It should say complete and then the survey ID. Okay. And what else? Oh, another thing. You can't be on pause for over 2 minutes, guys. That's why we always ask you right after you get the information from your call logs to always log out from the dialer so that you won't be on pause for over 2 minutes. Because otherwise, you will be kicked out from the dialer if you're on pause. And your users, if you get kicked out a couple of times for being on pause for over 2 minutes, your users might be blocked. Okay? So no going on unnecessary pause. If you need to go on bio, breaks, whatever system issues, you need to log out, whatever that is, please always make sure to tag me in the group chats or QA4 so that if you had system issues and or your PC crashed and you're showing pause, we can kick you out from the dialer automatically. All right. And log out on other things, you have to log out. No going on pause. The only time you go on pause is if you have a completed survey and you need to get the information from the call logs. That's it. That's the only time. Clear?
Yes, miss.
Okay, so if you don't have any more questions, I wish you good luck. We should be logging in 10
Miss, can I
minutes.
ask one
Uh-huh.
question? Will you provide specific rebuttals for a certain questions with the customer, or it's
Uh,
just a free flow?
we have rebuttals, but it's free flow. It's actually free flow,
Mm-hmm.
but I will send you
Okay.
common rebuttals that we have been using. Okay.
Okay.
All right. No more questions? Okay, if you don't have any more questions, I will prepare your VPN profiles. Your credentials should be given to you privately by your managers or your team leads or whoever hired you. And I wish you good luck. We'll be logging in 10 minutes. Good luck, guys. Thank you for attending the
All right,
training.
Okay.
miss.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank
Thank you,
All
Miss.
right,
Thank
miss.
you,
Thank you.
miss. Thank you.
Thank you, Miss.